When I was a young child, I always was happy. I never cried as a baby, so I've been told, and I've always had a smile on my face. When I was around 6 years old or so, my family lived in a 1 story home with an unfinished basement. Since it was only a 2 bedroom home, my parents turned the basement into their room. It was not finished by any means, but they wanted my brother and I to have separate rooms. So they took the creepy ad's basement. There was a staircase with a hallway right next to it at the bottom. It was an unfinished laundry room and overall storage space. My parents' bed was on the other side of the basement, so you had to walk right past it to get to their room. My room was right next to my brother's and the bathroom. Then there was the living room and kitchen. The staircase to the basement was in the kitchen. I was a very small home. I used to be terrified of storms, like completely petrified. So was my brother. We would run down to our parents' rooms together because we were both scared of the basement hall. In this house, there were always weird things happening: voices, doors closing and opening without anyone near, lights turning on and off, etc. But when my brother and I would go downstairs, I would always see faces and people in the hall, voices as well. I would be so scared that I would be screaming my head off and make my parents turn on the lights and come to me. But one night I remember sitting on the stairs, my brother had already ran past it, but I didn't. I heard a little girl's voice. I at this time was around 6 to 7, so I asked who it was. They wanted me to go into the hall so I could meet her and play with my toys. Because I was such a happy child and loved playing with other kids so much, I went into the hall. I remember someone with a deep male voice said, "Boo," and then I felt a burning sensation on my back. I had 7 large scratches down my spine. I remember something grabbed my hair, so I started screaming. My parents went to me, and whatever was down there was gone. They told me to stop being dramatic and stuff like that. Fast forward to the next storm. I was making my way down the stairs with my brother, and he went first, like always. When I was going by, I looked in. I saw a face I had never seen before. It was a wild man, piercing black eyes, a huge nose, and a scary ass grin. He said, "Boo," and it was the same voice as the night where I was attacked. I ran back upstairs to my room and hid under my covers. I stopped being scared of storms around then because I knew there were scarier things downstairs of this house. Down in the basement, there was the heating and cooling units, and you could hear if someone was talking through the vents. I remember sitting in my vent every night, in the dead middle of night, talking to that little girl. Her name was Brittany. Eventually, my parents got separated and we moved. Fast forward to 2017. I was 13. My mom and I moved into a rental house. It was a 2 bedroom house with an unfinished basement, but there was a bright pink and pink glitter bathroom down there. On the basement walls was the letter B written all over. It was the previous owner's daughter, I believed. But I had my best friend over. Her and I are die-hard believers in the supernatural. We've had a ton of things happen to us, and we basically live by horror movies and our Ouija boards. But she came over and we played it in the creepy ass basement that we were going to make my room. We decided to play Ouija down there, and for the first time in a while, we got a spirit. We asked the name, and it said basement. We didn't think much of it and asked once more what their name was. This time it said Brittany. I got goosebumps. We spent hours asking questions. We decided to do some research on the house. It turns out that the family that had lived there like 20 years ago had a daughter named Brittany that killed herself when she was 15 because she found out she was pregnant and didn't want to have to tell her parents. That night, my friend and I did even more research and found out that the same family who lived in the house I was staying in lived at the same house I did when I was a child, and all that stuff happened. I have since moved. But any time I use my Ouija board in June, Brittany comes through to talk to me. Can someone tell me what all of this means? Am I haunted? Cursed?